Hey, and in this Growth Engine Daily, I want to talk about corporate governance. Now, before you all switch out, because you're all interested in the exciting stuff like marketing and sales and new product launches, taking over the world, that's all awesome, and I'm all for that. But sometimes we just got to take a step back and do a housekeeping check. And when I use the word corporate governance, it can be governance, compliance, you'll have different names for it, and that's absolutely fine. But I just really want to get your thoughts and get this on your radar. If you're a solopreneur, this might be the last thing on back of your mind. If you've got a bit of a management team building up, then certainly this should be evident if you're running board meetings or management meetings and things like that. So what is corporate governance? It covers a wide spectrum, everything from looking after shareholders, stakeholders, making sure that you're acting as a responsible employer in the community and things like that. Making sure you're filing your taxes, paying the government on time, you've got regulatory licenses even. So all things like this can come into corporate governance. And ultimately, who's responsible? Well, the MD, the CEO, the business owner is the person responsible. It's not something that you're going to be able to delegate. As you guys know, I do quite a bit of non-exec work, sitting on people's boards. And one of the questions that I got asked at one board meeting was, Mike, if something goes wrong, you as our non-exec, do you carry the can as our guider or as our the person who's guiding us? Well, no, not really. As a non-exec, I'm partly responsible as an appointed director, but I'm not technically accountable to the end result that you as the business owner would be. I share that responsibility. So give a consideration for that. If you are running non-execs in your business, they do have risk. It's not just about rocking up, doing a couple of calls in between board meetings, turning up for the board meeting, reading the board papers and chairing the board meeting. There is an element of risk involved, and we are, as a non-exec, somewhat powerless or rudderless to enforce anything, that maybe, not quite right. So let me get back to the point. Corporate governance. What I want you to do today, I want you to take a step back, and this ain't a big job. I want you to take 60 minutes out of your day. I want you to take 60 minutes out of your day, and if you've got a management team, I want you guys to do that. I want you to book a meeting room out. If you don't have a meeting room, I want you to go into a quiet space, go hire a meeting room, go work at home that day, get your management team round, and then sit down and ask them what their responsibilities are. So again, using the fundamentals, we've got finance, that's a finance director, ops director, etc., etc. Go through the finance, ops, sales, marketing people, all those type of areas, and then just say, do we have the right licenses? Have we got the right standard operating procedures? Do we have the right insurances? Do we have all this something? Are we filing on time? Are we right in the community? Are we, what's our image right? Get all that sorted. If you're a venture capital backed business, no doubt they'll be holding you accountable through board meetings anyway. Am I creating board reports? Am I filing the minutes? Am I making sure the statutory returns are all done like a company secretary role? All these type of things. It is boring compared to doing out there and changing the world. I get that. But ultimately, I'm not sure if it's one of the Branson books, but it talks about companies being valued 10% more. Certainly if there's a better brand, it's worth more than if there isn't an established brand. And certainly if you are looking to exit, companies with good corporate governance are always going to get either a higher multiple or a higher bid price, whichever strategy you've got for what the exit value is. So it is worth doing. For you guys out here, just as a quick tip and a quick warning, for you guys and gals out there who are potentially looking to raise venture capital, you may have been trading 1 or 2 or 3 years. I'm not talking about seed startups or anything like that. There's a good chance as part of the venture capitalist due diligence process, they're going to have to look at the board reports and the board minutes to have a look at it. So if you're not filing those down and getting those audited and recording the right things, I remember when we raised venture capital with Yorkshire Forward and PIF, we were asked to turn over the board minutes so they could have a look back, and I don't recall if it was 6 or 12 months or whatever it was, but we'd got us house in order because we were planning an AIM flotation, the alternative investment market flotation. That's what the plan was prior to the crash in 2008, but they asked for that. And sometimes you think, wow, you know, what did we say? What did we do? Did we do what we say we were going to do? If you did do what you say you're going to do, your board reports are right, your governance is right, your HMRC accounts are all up to speed, then ultimately, you know, I'm not saying that's going to guarantee to get you funded. That'd be a wild, ridiculous claim, but it gives them a lot more confidence. So I hope you found that interesting. I'd love you to leave me some comments below. You know, 2 things that I want you to do today. Number 1, tell me what your corporate governance levels are. Score yourself out of 10. You know, I'm a 5 out of 10, I'm an 8 out of 10. I've got it absolutely nailed at 10 out of 10. You know, whatever. I'd love to know where you are governance wise. So that's point 1. And point 2, if you're not sure about, you know, what corporate governance is and what you should be doing, ask questions at the bottom. You know, what type of corporate governance should I be putting in my solicitor's business, not solicitor's business, but, you know, I don't know, a manufacturing business or a service business or my consulting business or my medical, you know, dentistry business or whatever it would be. So if you're unsure about what type of corporate governance that you should be putting into finance, ops, sales, marketing, you know, people management, even kind of banking, which I suppose comes under finance. You know, when somebody pays you, let's say they pay you £1,200 for a fee, which is £1,000 plus VAT, are you actually stripping the VAT out and putting it into a separate account and not spending it? Now I know a lot of startups are chasing the cash flow and things like that, they're using it, but you know, ultimately that's a great place to start. And you know, could even put that under best practice corporate governance compliance for, you know, not spending the government's money. And I know here in our businesses we love VAT return quarter, and the reason we love the VAT return quarter is because it's payday, not payout day, and that's because there's X £1,000 in the VAT, well, the HMRC account, and then obviously when we've taken our you know, claims against the VAT return out, we just reconcile it back and put it back into either the reserve account, the dividend account, or we put it into the OPEX trading account. So, you know, things like that, if you get into that mood, you get into that mindset, it's going to really serve you well. So thanks for continuing your journey with us. 2 things: tell us, you know, what your corporate governance level is. 5 out of 10, 10 out of 10, somewhere in between. If you've just not got started and you're a 0 out of 10, absolutely fine. You can message one of the hosts, and then we can do a private message to you, and we can talk to you about that and get you going. Secondly, if you're unsure about what it is and you're happy to share with the group, post it down below. We'll get those answered. So thanks for continuing your growth engine journey. As always, go do the hustle, go make it happen, and we'll catch up with you in another Growth Engine Daily real soon.